Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called Delightful Resistance, Embracing Joy in a Busy World. Good morning. Good morning. I am the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Intriligator. I am the minister of this congregation, and it is delightful to be with you this morning. In the spirit of delight, which is our theme, I have a riddle. Okay, everybody, what is orange and sounds like a parrot? A carrot. I know, it's really bad, really bad, really bad. Thank you, Tom. Musical commentary. Our church is a vibrant, caring community dedicated to love and service. All who share our values are welcome. Thanks to everyone who helped and participated this Friday and Saturday in our retreat on retreats. I want to make sure that you know we have a second restorative circle planned if you missed the one yesterday. We've got one on Zoom coming Wednesday night at 7. All are welcome, including people who took part yesterday, so please be part of the conversation. The link is in your midweek update. Next Sunday is our last Sunday in the sanctuary for the year. It'll be a very special service. At the center will be our next steps process. Your 4 learning teams have worked really hard in the last 6 months to bring forward a vision for what our church could be in the future. So please join us next Sunday. The following Sunday will be our annual picnic at Pine Banks Park, happening at 10:30 in the morning, our usual worship time. We're going to also have a sing-along of well-loved hymns, but we're still looking for a guitarist to accompany us. So if you play guitar, please let Eric or Garen know. Garen, can you wave your hand around? Eric and Garen are also working on creating a list of summer activities so that we can gather every Sunday throughout the summer, or as many Sundays as we have activities planned for, to keep us connected until we meet again together in the sanctuary in September. So if you have an activity that you could lead people in, anything from a walk in the woods to watercolor painting to knitting, a poetry reading in your garden, please see Garen in coffee hour. We have a few more spaces left. I wanted to mention a little bit about today's service. There will be a shorter homily from me to make space for a bridging ceremony for Nathan Wright, a graduating senior. Nathan will speak briefly before then about this important transition time in his life, and then we will bless him forward with our traditional ritual. His family is here to help us. Welcome. Thank you to our helpers this morning, our usher, Michael O'Connor, our greeter, Nancy Nichols, our coffee hosts, Harry Ha and Jennifer Fanning. Thank you. We couldn't do it without you. I think I forgot to say hi to our friends on Zoom, so let's do that now. This is the moment when we greet one another, turn around, wave, say hi, wave to the folks on Zoom. Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome. I'm sorry about that terrible joke, people. Hang in, it'll get better. Now it's time for me to call us to worship. I call us to worship this morning with a poem that's widely known and loved by Mary Oliver. It's called The Summer Day. Who made the world? Who made the swan, the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wing open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Now we light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice. I invite forward Liz Meyer to light the chalice for us and lead us in our congregational covenant.
I invite you now to rise in body or in spirit and join me in the words of our covenant, which you can see on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service in its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, and to the end of all souls, in harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and one with our God.
Everyone, if you would please remain standing and join in our opening hymn, which is O Life That Maketh All Things New. It's number 12 in the gray hymnal. The lyrics will appear on the screen, so we can all just look up and sing together. Thank you, choir. Thank you. Please be seated. I welcome forward our Director of Religious Education, Katie Campbell, and the kids.
Good morning. If any kids would like to come forward this morning to kind of have a conversation with me about the book, you are welcome to. You're going to want to come sit down here so that you can see us holding the book. I want to sit so that you're facing me. All right. I'm going to hold the. Thank you, Ellen. All right. Our story today. Welcome. Hi. Our story today is Julian is a Mermaid by Jessica Love. Let's open it up. What's going on in this picture right at the front? What does it look like is happening here? Does anybody know? Heather?
They're swimming in a pool.
It looks like they're swimming in a pool, like they're having some sort of swim lesson or something. Which one do we think is Julian? Yeah?
The one at the very bottom diving in.
Yeah, the one that looks like he's swimming underwater. let's turn the page and start. All right. This is a boy named Julian, and this is his abuela, and those are some mermaids. Do you guys see the mermaids? Yeah. Let's see if we can see them up close on the next page. Julian loves mermaids. What do you guys notice about the mermaids?
They actually have their tails are just dresses, and they actually have feet.
They do have feet. Their tails are dresses. Where does it look like they are right now? Where does it look like Julian and his abuela are that they're seeing these mermaids?
On a bus.
On a bus? Or what else? Is there another option besides a bus?
Train.
Or a train, the subway? All right, let's look at the next page. So Julian loves mermaids. Oh, what's happening? What's going on? Do you think this is actually happening? No. What's going on?
She's imagining the water, and she isn't really in it, but she's imagining it.
Yeah, Julian is imagining what it might be like to be in the water and turning into a mermaid. Do you notice how the hair is growing long? Like back on the other page, look at how they all had these beautiful long hair. Hair is growing long. Let's look at the next page. Wow, look at that. Look at all these beautiful, beautiful sea creatures that are swimming around Julian in Julian's imagination. I wonder what's going to happen next. Let's look at the next page. Oh, wow. What do we see happening on this page?
She has a mermaid tail.
They have a mermaid tail, yeah. We picked the story for Pride Month because Julian, we're not really sure what Julian's pronouns are because they don't ever use pronouns in the book. So Julian has grown a tail now in their imagination. And what else is happening? What's happening over here on the left, or my left?
They is finding a fish, a huge fish.
Yeah, there's a huge fish, and what is the fish doing? Do you see what the fish is doing, Owen?
Maybe it's like becoming friends with Julian.
Yeah, maybe the fish is becoming friends with Julian. It looks like the fish has something in its mouth, like maybe some beads or something. All right, a mermaid's necklace. Yeah, let's look at the next page. Vámonos, mijo. This is our stop. Julian had to leave his imagination and start looking at, so that they could leave the subway. And all the mermaids are waving goodbye, saying goodbye, Julian. On the next page, what kind of day do you think it is outside looking at this picture?
I think it's really hot.
It looks like it's a really hot day. Really hot day with the fire hydrant open. Everybody's sitting or playing in the fire hydrant, wearing bathing suits. Abuela, did you see the mermaids? I saw them, mijo. All right, let's look at the next page. Abuela, I am also a mermaid. And on the next page, they're back inside, and Abuela says, I'm going to take a bath. You be good. See what happens when Julian is left alone on the next page. Julian has a good idea. What does it look like Julian's good idea is?
She's turning herself into a mermaid.
Yeah, it looks like Julian is going to turn herself into a mermaid. Let's look on the next page. Oh, what's Julian doing? What's Julian doing? Look at that beautiful fern plant.
She's taking the flowers off of plants and she's putting it in her hair.
Julian took apart the fern and made that beautiful headdress and added some flowers to it. It looks like Julian might be putting a little lipstick on in the mirror there, too. Let's look at the next page. Oh, Julian is looking at that curtain. What do we think he might be thinking? All right, let's look at the next page. Let's see what he does with the curtain.
I think he's going to put it on for the tail.
You think he's going to put it on for the tail? All right. Let's look at the next page. Julian takes down the curtain and wraps it around, making it into a long, beautiful tail. Let's look. Next page. Oh. There's Abuela. Abuela's done with her bath. How does she look like she feels about the curtain coming down and the fern plant being pulled apart? How does Abuela look? Not happy, that's right.
Super mad.
Super mad. All right, let's see. Next page. Uh-oh. Abuela's walking away. Ooh, do we think Julian's in trouble? Maybe. Let's see. How does it look like Julian feels on this page? Julian was really proud of that mermaid costume that they made. How does it look like they feel now?
Sad and disappointed.
Sad and disappointed. All right, let's look at the next page. Abuela's all dressed and says, "Come here, mijo." Let's see what happens. Next page. What's going on there? What does Abuela have?
Like the mermaid's necklace?
The mermaid necklace, yeah.
Wait, now I think I know what the fish was. The mom.
You think that the fish had the same pattern as Abuela's dress there, huh? A little foreshadowing. So Abuela has some beads as a mermaid necklace, and Julian says, "For me, Abuela?" And she says, "For you, Julian." And on the next page, oh, they're going outside. They didn't stay home. And Julian got to keep that beautiful mermaid costume on. Next page. Where are we going? You'll see, says Abuela. Does anybody have any ideas about where they might be going?
The pool, because I already saw this book. Come on, Jude. Seriously? Way to spoil it, Jude. Duh.
That was some fun sibling dynamics. All right. So maybe they're going to a pool. They might be going to the pool, but let's see. On the next page, mermaids, whispers Julian. Look at all the different kinds of mermaids. What different kinds of mermaids can you see in this picture?
I can see one that is a squid.
There's one that looks like a squid or an octopus, and one that there's a whole group of them that look like jellyfish. And look at this one over here, those heels. All right.
Also, a squid one shouldn't be called a mermaid. It should be called a squid maid.
Okay, thank you, Owen. All right, let's look at the next page. Like you, Miho, let's join them. Look at how bright and colorful and festive it all is. Go to the next page. And they do join them. And see, there are the mermaids from the beginning of the book. It was this whole parade of mermaids, a whole festival for mermaids. And Julian's abuela brought them to join in. Let's go to the next page. And the swim class, they're all mermaids now too. All right, thank you all so much for joining me and for listening. And
On the first page, it shows them, but they're not mermaids. But now they are.
yeah, on the first page, they're not mermaids, and now they are, and it looks like they're the same patterns as their bathing suits, which is pretty clever. All right, thank you all so much. It is time to go down to RE. For anyone who's going down to RE, you can join us. Thank you.
Every Sunday in the center of our service, we take time for a quiet meditation. A time to connect once again with our inner selves, our highest ideals, our own personal sense of the divine. Let's begin this time by breathing deeply together, closing our eyes, getting in touch with our bodies. Feel your feet on the floor, feel your self relaxing into your seat. For our meditation time, first we'll join together in our centering song, then we'll sit for a few minutes of shared quiet, then we'll speak to one another of our joys and sorrows, and then I will lead a prayer. Our worship theme for June is delight. It's a time to get in touch with the beauty of the world and to feel more fully alive. Our centering song for June is "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple," number 16 in the gray hymnal. Lyrics will appear on the screen. Let the song gently guide you into our time of shared quiet.
We'll be
It is our tradition here to share with one another the joys and sorrows of our lives, our personal milestones. It's in this sharing that we come to know one another better and we weave the fabric of our community ever stronger. I invite anyone who has sorrow to share to come forward now and speak into the microphone so we can all hear you and see you. I invite the folks on Zoom, if they have a sorrow to share, to go ahead and type it into the chat box, and I will read them aloud.
Hi, I'm Lisa, and this is a strange sorrow to share at church, but it's weighing heavily on me. We're having a really hard time at our work right now for various reasons. We have a lot of difficult decisions to make and trying to make them in a way that keeps with the values of our company, to have care and concern for our coworkers and for the environment, and keep things strong for our clients. And it's just, it's a really challenging time, and it's, I guess that's all I just want to say. So please keep our company in your thoughts. It's a weird thing to say.
Thanks, Lisa.
I'm Jenny Wingrovius, and on Wednesday morning, my father-in-law died. Stefano did make it to Italy. For those of you that know him, he made it last Friday, so he was with his father. But the girls and I will not be able to go. So it's a very strange thing to do this at home by myself with the girls, but we're very, very grateful that Stefano was able to be there, and we're considering having a little memorial here so that the girls and I can have a ritual to honor Ennio. His name was Ennio Tonzani. So if we do end up doing that, I'll let folks know, of course. But yeah.
And I have two. One is a candle of concern. My nephew, who's a colonel in the Army Reserves, has been deployed to Kuwait. And he's on his way now out of Texas to Germany and then to Kuwait, and he will be traveling, unfortunately, to Afghanistan, Iran, and Iraq. So he leaves on his deployment, he leaves his wife and 3 daughters at home. So he'll be gone for a year, and I'm really concerned and hope that he gets back safely. And the second one is one of sadness. A gentleman who worked for me when I was at Partners in my work life, about a month ago, while he was planning his retirement, found out that he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And that cancer has now spread to his liver, lungs, and brain. And I'm really sad for him, his wife, his children, and for all the people that he worked with. They're really having a tough time. So keep them all in your thoughts. Thank you.
From our Zoom room, Jane Foley writes, "This weekend we will be honoring my mother. I miss her." Michael, if you'd go ahead and light one candle, please, for all the sorrows that we shared and all those that remain unspoken in our hearts. Help us to remember to reach out to one another and everyone in our lives, show our caring and support. Now I invite anyone who has a joy to share today to come forward, speak from the microphone. People on Zoom, go ahead and type into the chat box. Hello, you are a joy. Thank you for coming forward.
Hi, my name's Brian. I have a candle of really of hope, not so much joy, but I just spent the better part of May living with a dementia patient in South Carolina, and so my candle of hope is for people who can go to support groups for Alzheimer's and dementia, because that's been kind of way of getting through this. And if anyone's ever on the fence about should I go to support group, just ask me. I'll tell you the benefits and help you if I can.
Thanks, Brian.
Hi, my name is Wendy Mastronardi. This is a candle of joy for my cousin's son, Leo, who's a senior in high school. And towards the beginning-ish of the school year, he was doing so poorly. Leo's the second of 4 children. His mom had tried everything, and she finally said, okay, Leo, fine. I will sign you up for the GED, and you will have a GED. You're smart. You won't have a high school diploma. And then Leo was kind of shocked by that and got himself up on the honor roll and graduated Abington High School yesterday, and today I'm going to his graduation party. And in the spirit of delight, what is green and smells like blue paint? Green paint.
Wendy, I think that's even worse than the joke I told.
All right, so I'm back. So first of all, I'm very joyful that my mother and father-in-law, Martha and John Wright, have joined us today. So it's great to have them here with us. And I want to thank everybody for their support for Nathan this week. It started off challenging for him and ended up with a great, big, lots of fun party yesterday. And so we're really proud of him, but thank you for everybody who supported him.
Thanks, Lisa. From our Zoom room, from Christine Shirey, a joy. I see Liz Broder here on Zoom. Happy birthday, Liz. From Dan Franklin, joy for the Polymnia concert last night. Wonderful to sing along and enjoy Elton John songs. From Cheryl Ringen, joy, dance recital for Lily today. 6 dances of her own and 5 dances that she helped to teach. And someone anonymously writes, thank you for my birthday wishes. Michael, would you please go ahead and light another candle for all the joys that were shared here today and the joys that remain unspoken. May the candle be a beacon of all of our joys and a reminder to feel grateful for all the many, many blessings in our lives. Thank you, Michael. Please join me in the spirit of prayer. I offer you this poem called Beannacht, or Blessing, by the Irish poet, priest, and philosopher John O'Donohue. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the currach of thought and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. Amen.
This church is a self-supporting organization funded by your generous annual pledge. You may also contribute to our weekly collection plate, which we split every month with a deserving cause. Folks on Zoom can donate either way using the orange button at the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. For the month of June, in celebration of Pride Month, our church leadership has chosen to support the Trans Fund, an emerging campaign of Side with Love that, through partner groups, offers support to trans people living in the 19 states that have banned health care to trans people. Half our collection plate in June will go to help trans people. Our offertory today is a wonderful thought about remembering to smell the roses. This is What a Wonderful World.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world, wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, and also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world, wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world, wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, choir. That ministered to me. For a reading today, I have a poem by the middle 20th century American poet Charles Bukowski. It's called The Laughing Heart. Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. Be on the watch. There are ways out. There is light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. Your life is your life. Know it while you have it. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight in you. This year at church has been a lot. Trying to come back from the pandemic, to rebuild our sense of community after the worldwide trauma, well, we're still working on it. Add to that this year we've had 2 surgeries, 2 medical leaves by your minister. Just called myself a doctor. And a medical leave from Katie, our DRE. It gets complicated. And we also started our next steps process, and we took a hard look at the state of our church, and we dug into how to fix it, how to adjust it, how to reinvent ourselves for a post-pandemic world. In addition to all that this year, together we have again opened our tricky discussion about our men's and women's retreats. And of course, many of us are also heartsick about the general state of the world, the climate crisis, and here at home, the fight to preserve the forest at the Vogue School. Many have shared with me that they are struggling with the challenges of parenthood or illness or depression. And my heart hurts for all of you. At the end of this long year, I myself am exhausted. I am struggling to stay present and whole, struggling to put words together even. Add to that my 2 college kids have just recently moved back home with all of their stuff and some of their roommates' stuff too, and some random house guests that have happened by, and my house is a wreck. You should not see it. There are boxes everywhere and piles of stuff. I can't even get to the living room sofa. There's a bed frame in the hallway. There are clothes on hangers hanging from the curtain rod in the living room. And yet, in the midst of all of that, there are moments. The other night, I was getting home from a committee meeting here that ran late, and there was a discussion after that, and so I didn't get home until around 10. But when I pulled into the driveway, my daughter Lily, who's 20 now, was on the porch waiting for me. And she came to the car to help me with my bags. And as we turned up the front walk, there in the beam of the porch light hopped a frog across the pathway. Little, tiny, green, gray, bumpy. And it just hopped and stopped and stared and stared and then hopped again. And we watched. And after a while, I had to remind myself to breathe. Then yesterday afternoon, after the long restorative circle about retreats that we had here, I got home around 5, and I was just spent, and I kind of stumbled into the kitchen, and I found Lily there, cooking. "What are you making?" I asked. "Gorilla lasagna," is what she said. What? I could not understand her through all the giggling. Gorilla lasagna. She was cracking herself up. And I watched as she made a lasagna in a 9 by 13 glass pan, and when it was done, she cut out a shape in the middle of it of a gorilla and took out the excess lasagna and put it on a plate. And then she took the rest of the vat of ricotta cheese that she hadn't used. It was a big double one. And she put in black food coloring, dyed it black, and then frosted the lasagna. And then got a Kalamata olive and cut it in half and put it for eyes and shaped a nose. And she said I could talk about it, but I couldn't show you photos, so. But she was laughing the whole time at gorilla lasagna. I still can't even say it, gorilla lasagna. Delight, delicious. Who made the world, asks Mary Oliver. Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? Rereading that poem the other day, I remembered how when I was a little kid, I used to sit on the cement for hours watching the ants. Do you know how in the summertime hundreds of them will gather in one place? Somebody said it was an ant war, but I don't know what they're doing. But I could watch for hours and I wonder, like, how does one ant carry something that's 5 times its size? Did you used to do that? Did you used to sit and watch ants or worms or flowers? Did you roll up a roly-poly in your hand? Did you float on a lake and look up at the clouds passing by, or maybe the stars at night? I don't know exactly what a prayer is, says Mary Oliver, but I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed. Tell me, what else should I have done? Delight, delight, delight. All around us every day, the world offers us delightful, amazing, ridiculous, beautiful things. And they are here to remind us, to help us remember that we are alive too. We have skin and lungs and eyes and taste buds, all meant for delight, designed for delight. In her book, Pleasure Activism, the philosopher Adrienne Marie Brown writes, "Pleasure reminds us to enjoy being alive and on purpose. Pleasure, embodied, connected pleasure, is one of the ways we know we are free. That we are always free. That we always have the power to co-create the world. Pleasure helps us move through the times that are unfair, through grief and loneliness, through the terror of genocide, or days when the demands are just overwhelming." She goes on. Pleasure heals the places where our hearts and spirits get wounded. Pleasure reminds us that even in the dark, we are alive. Pleasure is a medicine for the suffering that is absolutely promised in this life. Pleasure is the point. Feeling good is not frivolous, it is freedom. Unquote. In a culture that will tell you over and over that your value comes from what you can produce, how much money you make or you have, how perfect your body or your life looks to other people, it can be a revolutionary act just to tune it all out and go into the woods or into your garden or just breathe. Watch the insects, feel the air on your skin, have a body, love your body. Let your body be alive, completely alive in the moment. Your life is your life, writes Charles Bukowski. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. In our story this morning, a little kid named Julian is riding the subway with his grandmother, and what does he see? Mermaids. The Coney Island Mermaid Parade is a real thing. They call it the largest art parade in the US, and it happens every June on the Saturday closest to the summer solstice. It draws about 3,000 participants and hundreds of thousands of spectators. Little Julian was not alone. He was not imagining things. But even if he were, wasn't it just delightful? Julian, like most kids, knows about delight, knows that when something lights up your brain with joy, you should follow that path. And so he does. He makes himself a headdress and a long, beautiful tail. But what will his grandma say? Admit that you were worried about that. I was worried about that. But she doesn't yell, she doesn't dismiss. Grandma sees Julian, sees Julian's delight, his aliveness, and so she takes him to the parade to gather with all the other beautiful mermaids. God bless Grandma. You are marvelous, writes Charles Bukowski. The gods will wait to delight in you. Is there someone in your life that you need to take to the parade? Is there a part of you that you need to take to the parade? Maybe somewhere in you there is a little Julian, a kid with a passion, a kid who is eyeing the drapes, longing for a headdress filled with visions of beauty and glory. Delight can be a gateway, a marker on the path toward becoming, at whatever age, toward finding and feeding and freeing your unique purpose. Maybe you are a mermaid too, or a poet, or a painter, or a gardener, or simply a worshiper of creation. I will end with this thought, another from Adrienne Marie Brown. Put your attention on suffering, which is constant and everywhere, and it is all you will see. Joy will come and laughter, but you will find it brief, possibly a distraction. Put your attention on joy, being connected and feeling whole, and you will find it everywhere. Your heart will still break, you will know grief, but you will find it a reasonable cost for the random abundance of miracles and the soft, wild rhythms of love. Amen. We turn now with utter delight to our annual, if we are lucky, bridging ceremony. As we turn, it is fitting to recall the last two famous lines from Mary Oliver's poem from our call to worship. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? With those lines in our hearts, we turn to celebrate Nathan, a graduating senior. Unlike most kids who walk under our bridge, Nathan did not grow up in this church. He did not go through our religious education program. He and his parents joined a couple of years ago in the middle of the pandemic, and it turned out the youth group was not a good fit for Nathan. Instead, he came to worship. He shared with us his joys and sorrows. He chatted with folks in coffee hour, and we all made our own connections with him. When I realized that Nathan was graduating this year, I reached out to his family and asked if they'd like a ceremony. They said yes, and so it is our delight this morning to build a bridge, to bless Nathan forward as he seeks his own path on his own wild and precious life. Nathan asked if he might say a brief thank you, a few words to the congregation. So please come forward now, Nathan.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I wanted to start my speech by thanking everyone here for giving me a sense of community. All of you have been so welcoming of me and my family, and everyone who was there for us during our rough times. I've tried other communities, clubs, and sports teams, most of which were not welcoming of different types of people. When I started to come in person to the Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church, I felt immediately welcomed into the community. People, no matter how small or how big, how young or how old, all came together for me and my family during my dad's kidney dialysis treatment. They made us blankets and sewed together wonderful gifts for us. They baked cakes and cookies and made some of the best homemade mac and cheese I've ever eaten. It felt like the whole church came together for us during our rough times. Once my dad was going to surgery, my mom found solace in the people that were praying for a successful kidney transplant. It was successful. Now, around 4 months later, my dad and my whole family are doing great, and I've just graduated from Melrose High School. I cannot express how much gratitude I feel for everyone who I've talked to, everyone I've mowed lawns for, or anyone whose delicious chilies and cornbread I tried. It was really good. Once again, I'm very thankful I found this fun, welcoming, and caring community filled with good people who I have no doubt will be cheering me on as I go into college in the real world. Thank you.
Hey, Nathan, I'm going to ask you to come and stand here while we bid the bridge. It's our tradition to recognize our graduating seniors with a bridging ceremony. We line up down the aisle and maybe take a turn and even go outside if we need to. Today, as our youth passes through this bridge, may it be a symbol of your transition from youth into adulthood and into your life. Now I'm going to ask Ellie Ferris, the youth that we bridged last year, to welcome Nathan into adulthood by standing at the end of the bridge. And she will be the person at the end who congratulates you and gives you the gift that we have from the congregation. Now let's start building the bridge. I'd like to start, I was supposed to text Katie and ask the kids to come up. Liz, would you run downstairs and just tell them that we're starting to build a bridge so they have something to look forward to? So I wanted to start with the kids, and then just after them, I'd like Nathan's family to come forward. You are the symbol of Nathan's nurturing, of his childhood, where he starts and moves out from today. Come on forward, stand right here. Maybe leave a little space for the, right here, leave a little space for the kids, right? There you go. Maybe one parent on each side, and you're gonna raise your hands and make a bridge. And next, I'd like to invite anybody who's worked directly with Nathan, maybe had a conversation with him in coffee hour, Nathan's friends in the congregation. I'd like to invite our lifelong UUs to come next, people who have been members for this church for a long time. And finally, I recommend and I welcome all the members and friends of this congregation. Yeah, feel free to line up down the aisle and then turn and go toward the doorway. Kids, come forward. I want kids to be in the front here, be part of our bridge. Thank you. There we go. Thank you. Make space there near the end. Everybody get in. We've got our kids in. All right, it's time to make the bridge. Let's raise our arms up. And as Nathan comes through, I want you to think loving thoughts. Think about the blessings that you wish for him in his long and happy life to come. Nathan, please. Go ahead. Oh, wait, we got more kids joining at the last minute. All right. Nathan, please walk now from childhood into young adulthood. Hooray, Nathan. Okay, everyone return to your seats. Thanks, everybody. All we have left now is the closing hymn. You can stay where you are, return to your seats, and please join in our closing hymn, which, of course, is Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee, number 29. The gray hymnal, lyrics will appear on the screen. Join in and give it your all. Really enjoy it this time, please.
Joyful, joyful, we voice arise.
Thank you. Please remain standing and join with me in our chalice extinguishing words. Zura, would you like to come and extinguish the chalice? We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you. Please be seated. Our worship has ended. Thank you to all who helped make it happen. Thank you to everybody for making time in your Sundays. Congratulations to Nathan and to Nathan's family. Happy Sunday.